Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Bloomfield. Good morning. Good morning, Bloomfield. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for being here and coming out this morning. It is hot already, so we want to get you out of here as soon as possible and head on down to the festival. And this is amazing. Again, thank everybody. This became a conversation, first at home with my husband, and then with my Board of Education members, as well as the members of the Civil Rights Commission. And it honestly has grown to something that I had least expected to be an outcome here in Bloomfield. And I'm just amazingly happy and proud to be a part of this first annual occasion and actually making history here in our town. So I think for myself, our board members, the commission, and you as the community, we all deserve a round of applause. I'd like to bring up our mayor to say a few words. Mayor Michael Venecia, are you here somewhere? There you are.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ask Councilwoman Sarah Cruz to come up with me. Councilwoman Cruz. And while Councilwoman Cruz is coming up, also with us here this morning, we have Councilman Ted Gamble, Councilman Nick Joanno, and Councilwoman Jenny Mundell. Come on up, sure, you could share. You know, this young lady, community volunteers came to Councilwoman Cruz asking to have a Juneteenth event. Councilwoman Cruz brought it to the council and we said, absolutely, this is the right thing to do. And we're happy to be here this morning with everyone. Last night was a great event to kick off our Juneteenth, celebration weekend, I think we could call it, because we're doing multiple events. And I just want to recognize community members that came up, Dee and Diamond, who really came up with the concept of a street fair that we're having right after this on Washington Street. So let's give them a big round of applause. You know, I am a product of the Bloomfield schools. I graduated from this high school, so I am very honored and proud that we have students getting involved in this event, and it is up to you to keep on bringing it in the future and making our event better. So please, anytime you have an idea, bring it to myself and the council, and we will try to work with it and try to move forward with it. I said last night that, I didn't know what Juneteenth was till about 3-4 years ago. And I think it's very, very important that we not only make sure it's in our education system, educating our children, but educating our adults as well, what it is and what the meaning of it is. And that, I'm proud of this diverse community that we live in. I just want to recognize Casey. Let's give her a big round of applause. It's people like Casey, Sarah, Dee, and Diamond that make this community so great that we can have events like this and have special days. So again, thank you, and let's have a great day.
And so I would like to now introduce Dr. Akil Kalfani.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Wonderful. That's the kind of response I like to hear, because libation is about us all being engaged in the process. This is a beautiful day here in Bloomfield, in New Jersey, in the United States, and I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the city of Bloomfield, my sister Casey here, who's worked so hard to make this happen. Let's give them all a round of applause, please. So, libations, as she said, is a time for us to pay tribute to our ancestors. And in the African diaspora community, we've always, before we open in a ceremony, we always do this. But there's another piece that we do that's even before that, and that is we ask permission from our elders to begin. So I ask permission of my elders, can I begin today? Thank you. And so we also want to greet each other. We want to learn some African languages. So I lived in South Africa for a while. So let us all say Sawubona. Very good. Sawubona is more like saying hello, good morning. So good. So now you all know a little bit of Zulu. Congratulate yourselves. So as we pay libations, sometimes people use alcohol, some people use water, cola nuts, different things. I use water because water is the cycle of life. And as we're focusing on Juneteenth, we pay tribute to those. As we're paying tribute, we use the water because we are over 70% water. The earth is majority water. The water that you drink today may be the water that your ancestors a million years ago drank. So you are reconsuming those same elements, and so we want to use that as a time to pay that tribute. And so we pour water back onto the ground, on the concrete or in the grass, as a way of recognizing that. And so what we do is that it's participatory. So when I say something, then you say Ashe. So if I say we're pouring libations to the ancestors, you say Ashe. We pour libations to the ancestors from the north, Ashe. Those from the south, those from the east, and those from the west. Those from the past, the present, and those yet to come. And we say those yet to become because when we recognize that our DNA, that the very DNA that makes up who you are today was there in the beginnings of time. So that a piece of you that's here today was actually there thousands and thousands of years ago, part of your great-great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents. And at the same time, that DNA and yours today, if you have children, is part of your grandchildren's grandchildren and their great-great-grandchildren's DNA. Ashe? So, and Ashe is a Yoruba word. It means so be it. It's like saying amen or I mean. So we're recognizing the connections between those spiritual practices, those ideas about paying homage to those who came before us. So we recognize those that if we think about libations, and particularly in the African diaspora community, we're here celebrating Juneteenth. And Juneteenth is this auspicious moment where now is being celebrated across the country because of those Africans who did not know that they were free until 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation and the idea of freedom that went across the country. We want to recognize that, but also recognize that the first ideas of freedom happened when the first African people were captured by Europeans back on the African continent. That was the beginning of the struggle and the movement towards what today we're celebrating as Juneteenth. So for those who fought at that time, we say Ashe. Ashe. Yes. For those who did not make it across from the interior, from when I was in Ghana, folks didn't make it all the way from the interior to the coast, to the dungeons and to the slave ships. But for those who were in that passageway but didn't make it, we say Ashe. For those who survived in the dungeons in Ghana and Senegal and elsewhere, we say Ashe. I can't hear you. There you go. For those who made it across Middle Passage, some did not make it. Some died in the boats. Some died but were thrown overboard or jumped overboard because they refused to be caught up in the bastion of slavery. We say Ashe. Ashe. For those who made it to the other side, we say Ashe. For those who made it here and tried to figure out a way to navigate themselves through the torture and torment of oppression, we say Ashe. Ashe. For those who made it possible for the struggles to continue in understanding that their upliftment was greater than any one person's upliftment, we say Ashe. Ashe. For those who we call out their names now, those who invented stuff like the stoplight. We wouldn't have the stoplight if it wasn't for somebody like Garrett A. Morgan. Ashe. We wouldn't have all the inventions. We wouldn't have air conditioners in this building if it wasn't for those Africans who invented air conditioning. Ashe. We wouldn't have so many other things that were invented. There was a sister who invented LASIK eye surgery. For her, we say Ashe. For the light bulb in Edison, I live in West Orange, Edison's laboratory, he invented a light filament, but it was Lewis Latimer who invented a filament that would last for many, many days and months. So we say Ashe. Ashe. we want to call the names of those who struggled to push for our liberation. Those like Malcolm X, Ashe. Martin Luther King. It's your turn. Call out some names. Harriet Tubman, Ashe, come on. Ashe. Ashe. Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois. What's my Ashes? All right. So also we want to call up the names of, when we do libations in a ceremony like this, we want to recognize your family members. So call up your grandparents and great-grandparents, those whose names you know, call up their names, and we'll pour libations to them as well. Because we want the space in Bloomfield to be changed. It's never going to be the same in Bloomfield after this day. We're uplifting the spirit of our ancestors, those who died and lived here in Bloomfield and elsewhere, that we're bringing the energy of them here so that we know and they know that we love them and they loved us back. Ashe? So call out their names. Nancy Franks. Ashe, come on. It should be a cacophony of sound of all the names. Ashe. 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 Elsie Rogers House. Ashe. And for all those whose names we don't know, but we know that they loved us, that they fought for us, that they died for us, but they lived for us. And today we live continuing their legacy. We say Ashe. 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 Thank you.
Thank you for those libations, Dr. Akil Kalfani. We are now going to hear from one of our graduating seniors for the class of 2021, Samaya Ruffin. Will be here. I'm going to ask you all rise so that we can hear a selection from her for the Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it sound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you, Samaya. I would now like to introduce someone that has become to be not only that a person that I have learned quite a bit from in this district, but a teacher, former teacher, now principal of my son's school, Berkeley Elementary School, Dr. Natasha Baxter. She will be here to say a few words and introduce our rising students.
Good morning. Good morning, distinguished guests and residents of Bloomfield. What a glorious day we are having. To the planning committee, thank you so much for putting something like this together. It is a phenomenal day here in Bloomfield. A year after protests for racial justice swept this nation, propelling conversations on how to improve conditions for Black lives here in America. The country is celebrating the 156th anniversary of one of its earliest liberation movements, Juneteenth. The first Juneteenth in 1866 was celebrated with food, singing, and the reading of spirituals. And it commemorated newly freed Black people taking pride in the progress. Today, Juneteenth is being recognized through food, song, and a day of activities here in Bloomfield. And as the only African American principal in the township, I am proud to be part of the movement. Perceptions of Juneteenth have also changed over the past century. During World War I, some people considered it un-American, unpatriotic, and shameful because it focused attention on a dark period in U.S. history, according to the authors of the academic article, When Peace Come, Teaching the Significance of Juneteenth. Juneteenth has been called many things over time. Emancipation Day, Jubilee Day, Juneteenth National Freedom Day, Juneteenth Independence Day, and Black Independence Day. Juneteenth has been unknown to many Americans until perhaps last year, when widespread protests for racial justice, a few named Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, and George Floyd, to name a few, coincided with this day. As an educator, I listen to historians' positions on teaching the significance of Juneteenth. Dr. Garriott Scott, Associate Professor of History and African American Studies, whom I follow extensively, stated, in teaching the significance of Juneteenth, it is sometimes hard to teach small but pivotal moments in American history. But to help students understand major moments like the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, it is imperative to teach the smaller historical milestones. By teaching Juneteenth, it gives students a fuller picture of the long, enduring fight for freedom. To me, it is critical that we do not hide truths from our children, but to begin to be okay being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Explain the small historical milestones in context with some same momentum we expose our children to the larger milestones. Today is the beginning of a new chapter here in Bloomfield, the first step in celebration for healing, joy, and recognition. As President Obama once stated, I have always believed that hope is that stubborn thing inside us that insists, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that something better awaits us so long as we have courage to keep reaching, keep working, and keep fighting. As I take my seat, I am so honored to introduce Miss Janelle Brown, an amazing teacher here at Berkeley School that has worked with our class of 2021 students on their expressed thoughts of Juneteenth. You are in for a very special treat. Thank you so much for the honor and the opportunity to speak today. Miss Brown.
Good morning and happy Juneteenth to you, my fellow Bloomfield community members. My name is Janelle Brown, and it's a great day for me to be a Bengal, and most importantly, a Berkeley Bulldog. Berkeley! Being a teacher is a great responsibility. It's more than teaching students about their letters, their numbers, and their sounds, or how to think critically as they build a volcano for the science fair. For at least 8 hours a day, families in Bloomfield Township, and specifically Berkeley Elementary, entrust their children to us to help mold them into strong citizens of our community. Citizens who will be inclusive of others and learn how to make positive change wherever their path may lead them. But as your teachers and school administrators have chorused before, it takes teamwork, and it certainly takes a village. As adults, we tend to naturally think that our thoughts or actions are superior to our children. In that, we lose sight of the fact that our children are human beings as well, navigating this world equally, and that there is power in their voice and their actions. Thank you, Maria Montessori, for reminding us that children are human beings to whom respect is due. superior to us by reason of their innocence and of the greater possibilities of their future. And it is our responsibility to bring them into the fight of civil justice with us, teaching them the importance of acknowledging the heritage and struggles of our brothers and sisters in this district and our society overall. A first ever Juneteenth commemoration is a step in the right direction. However, let's also not get comfortable. It is my job to teach my students that Juneteenth is not the end goal, but a stepping stone on the path for a right to equal justice. Change for the better doesn't come by just what we as adults choose to do, but what we encourage our children to do. And one of the most important things we can do as a community is to encourage our students to use their voice to speak on what's right. In the next few moments, you will hear students from Berkeley School give you their thoughts on the question, why is it important that we celebrate Juneteenth today? As you listen to their answers, I challenge you to keep your hearts and minds open. Let their words digest, no matter how uncomfortable it might be, to confront the truth of our nation's history. Ask yourself, how can you lend your power to their words so together we can take action to improve our schools and communities? This city and our country have a long way to go. Today is but a small step in our students' lives as they grow into community members who will fight for change. Thank you for being here to witness their journey. They're a little shy, so please be gentle with them. So first up, I would like to invite up Miss Amani McPherson. You're gonna be great.
You got it.
You got it.
Pull your mask out so you can speak. And there we go.
Who do I look like?
Huh?
Who do I look at?
Oh, cool.
Good morning, Bloomfield residents. Thank you all for coming and having me here to celebrate Juneteenth with all of you. Okay.
I was about to say, yeah, you gotta speak right. Watch out, move back a little bit. Go ahead.
Today I'm going to talk about Juneteenth. Anyways, I hope you enjoy my essay. Juneteenth is a holiday we celebrate when enslaved Africans found out they were officially free on June 19, 1865. It's also an Independence Day for Black people. Juneteenth is very important to many people, including me, because we honor all the people that were enslaved for many, many years, more than I can even imagine. I know everyone there who found out they were free was shocked but still excited to live their life and not have to listen to unfair people. You can't separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom. Malcolm X. Juneteenth officially became a holiday in 1980. It became a state holiday in Texas and many other states follow along that. The holiday isn't only celebrated in the United States, it is also celebrated outside of it, like Mexico. Also celebrate Juneteenth. Us Bloomfield citizens can do stuff to remember Juneteenth as well, like how other places might do, as in learn about it more in school or have school parties if we were there physically, and have parades. Bloomfield is a very diverse town, which means there's a lot of people culture out there, and holidays some people celebrate that some people don't even know exist. There are many ways you can celebrate Juneteenth. You can eat red food at festivals. The red food represents all the enslaved people. It's a common color that people would give for food, like watermelon, meat, and more. Another way to celebrate Juneteenth is having parades with the color red, black, and green. These three colors represent the blood, soil, and African hat. I hope other kids get this opportunity to experience Juneteenth. I will not forget this day of the year because one of the most important days for me and my ancestors. And it's fun learning about things like Juneteenth because of how important it is. Have a wonderful rest of your day and be safe out there.
Good job.
I don't know how to put it back.
You did it.
Good job.
Next up, I would like to invite Miss Giselle Morano. Please see how I held it right here? And make sure you speak nice and loud. It's going to feel like you're yelling, but it's okay. And then you can pull your mask down when I leave.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, residents of Bloomfield. My name is Giselle Moreno, and I hope your day is going well. First of all, I would like to say thank you to my English teacher for making this all happen and inviting me here. Now to my essay. Juneteenth is for us to celebrate the African Americans and how they got their freedom. But today, sometimes they are still treated unfairly, and they are still fighting for freedom. Juneteenth got me thinking of a quote I heard from Zoe Sumadzi. The quote says, "We are not ready to fight because we're not ready to fight because we love fighting. We are ready to fight because we are worth fighting for." Juneteenth reminds me of this quote because African Americans were fighting for freedom back then and are still fighting for freedom now. Most people don't like the idea of celebrating Juneteenth because they don't understand what it was like for African Americans back then. Even if some people don't celebrate it, they should at least respect people that do. I think it's important to celebrate this holiday in Bloomfield because many African Americans live here, and it would be rude not to. We want everyone to be heard here in Bloomfield, and they should not be silent. So what I think we should do is make a parade with floats going down Bloomfield to celebrate and have a good time. We should also have a speaking up ceremony for people who want to speak. Also, this is an important time in our history to remember and to continue to remember. I remember reading a quote from Nelson Mandela that said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." And this quote reminds me that before Juneteenth wasn't a holiday, people started to make movements to make it a holiday that is now celebrated throughout the United States. In conclusion to all that I said, I call for a better future and seeing bigger and better things. What I imagine is everyone coming together, hand in hand, not judging each other, and being free to not have to fight anymore. I hope no one will ever forget this day in history and remember to come together to celebrate, no matter where you come from. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle. Next up, we will hear a speech from Jahar Ishraq Bouyan. Yeah, you're tall. So you're going to speak right into the mic, okay?
Hello, good morning, residents of Bloomfield. My name is Joanna, and today I will be talking about the importance of Juneteenth and why we should celebrate it. So let's begin. Juneteenth is also known as Freedom Day, Liberation Day, Jubilee Day, and Emancipation Day. Juneteenth commemorates the emancipation of enslaved people. When on June 19, 1865, Major General Gordon Granger and the Union soldier arrived in Galveston, Texas, to inform the slaves that the Civil War had already ended, and slavery had been abolished 2 years ago. However, Texas was unaware of that. Juneteenth is celebrated by some of the most major cities in the U.S., such as New York, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Detroit, but is the biggest and most celebrated in Texas, due to the event of Juneteenth occurring there. While a lot of cities do celebrate Juneteenth, some do not. For instance, Hawaii, North Dakota, and South Dakota are the only cities that do not celebrate Juneteenth. Activists are campaigning for the United States Congress to recognize Juneteenth as a national holiday. It is very important that we do celebrate Juneteenth today on the 19th of June, because on this day, over 250,000 slaves in Texas learned that they had been freed from slavery. Before that, slaves were treated like they were no human but mere objects. They were beaten up badly by their masters, which resulted in them getting badly injured or even losing their life. So, when those slaves heard the announcement of freedom, I assume they felt ecstatic. I know if I were in their position, I would also feel very ecstatic. You can't separate peace from freedom, because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom. Malcolm X. Most slaves in the U.S. were black, so there was a lot of discrimination against black people. Although it has definitely gotten better over the years, there's still a lot of discrimination against black people in this day and age. That is another reason why we should celebrate Juneteenth, because it is a great way to remember, appreciate, and acknowledge colored people and their achievements, which should not go unnoticed. Some things that the Bloomfield community can do together to remember Juneteenth are set up posters, flyers, or even give everyone a day off. Juneteenth was a very important part of history. Not only did it mark the end of slavery, it was also the beginning of ending discrimination against black people. If Juneteenth didn't occur, I don't think we will be able to live like how we are living today. All in all, I think that Juneteenth is an amazing holiday that we should all celebrate, no matter our race, religion, or ethnicity. And I hope that one day we'll all be able to live in peace and harmony with people of all different creeds, nations, races, religions, and ethnicities. If you know whence you came, there's really no limit to where you can go. James Baldwin. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you have an amazing day.
I just want you to give it up for these kids again, because for the most part, they've been virtual. So this is their first presentation all year. Next up, I would like to invite Miss Kaylee Barbarisi. I like the hair flick. The hair flick shows me the confidence, okay? All right, make sure you're speaking nice and loud. It's going to feel like exactly and real soon.
Okay. Hello, beloved Bloomfield Bengals. My name is Kaylee Barbarisi from Berkeley Elementary School. I hope you have all been in good health and are having a good year, because I know that COVID-19 had brought us all down. But anyways, if you're here today, it is nice to know that you're okay and attending the celebration of the glorious holiday Juneteenth. And with that note, let's get started. I believe that it is of utmost importance that we celebrate this holiday and acknowledge the people that were freed that day on June 19th, 1865. The people that were enslaved that day were freed, and my number one reason why Juneteenth is important is because what happened before Juneteenth was created and before slaves were free. The events and sadness of what happened to anyone with dark skin. They were treated awfully and put into slavery against their own will, just because some men and women decided it would be smart to make other people do work for them just because of their race. Which is one reason why it is extremely important that they get a holiday today, because of the miserable things that happened to them in the past. Unfortunately, it's not even just the past. This still happens today, and black people that were enslaved still fight for their freedom. As a world-to-world example, I, myself, am mixed. My mother is black and my father is Italian. One day in kindergarten, my teacher was absent for the day, so we had a substitute. When it was time to leave for pickup, my mother came to pick me up, and the substitute asked my mother, "Whose child is yours?" So my mother told her that I was. The substitute made a face at her and said, "No, that's your child." Then the substitute pointed out another child with darker skin, so my mother just left with me. Similar situations happen like this every single time there was a substitute. Furthermore, people are treated unfairly just because of the color of their skin. And as James Baldwin said, if you know whence you came, there really is no limit to where you can go. When the slaves heard the announcement of freedom, I can imagine how lovely and relieving it might have been. A humongous, ginormous weight lifted off of their shoulders. I also think that a way that the Bloomfield community can remember Juneteenth is to have a barbecue party. Because in a Juneteenth video I had watched, it stated that they sang spirituals, ate barbecue, played games, and recited the Emancipation Proclamation. To conclude my essay, residents of Bloomfield, I would like to thank my principal, Dr. Baxter, and my ELA teacher, Ms. Brown. I had explained what had happened during my time in Bloomfield and what the community, aka the substitute, had said to my mother. I would believe that it's time for a change. Us as a town, Bloomfield, can do better. And celebrating Juneteenth would be a reminder just of that. We should all be treated equally. And as I end, think about this quote by Zoe Sanduzzi. We are not ready to fight because we love fighting. We are ready to fight because we are worth fighting for.
You were fantastic. She's like, I'm running away now. And last up, I would like to invite Miss Rosalind Summers.
Good morning, residents of Bloomfield. My name is Rosalind Summers, and I am a part of the graduating class of 2021 from Berkeley Elementary School. I have been selected to discuss the importance of Juneteenth, so let's begin. On June 19th, 1863, Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas to tell the last slaves that they were finally free. Even though slavery was abolished 2.5 years beforehand, Texas had no idea. When the slaves discovered the news, they began singing, praying, and dancing to celebrate. This is why we as a community should honor and celebrate Juneteenth. People need to learn and be educated about Black history because people of color have been through everything, and our accomplishments shouldn't go unnoticed. Even though slavery has ended, Black people are still facing oppression. Slavery and freedom cannot exist together is a quote from Ernestine Rose. Black people are not free, and we all know it. We all saw the mess that was 2020 brought us. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Trayvon Martin are 3 out of the hundreds of Black people killed by police. History is going backwards and everyone sees it. However, we can still do our part as a community to fix it or at least make it better. Bloomfield is a very diverse town, but there are ways we can be more inclusive to Black and brown students. For example, learning about Black history and creating more events like this can help others get engaged and to help Black people. We should be grateful for the diversity that this district does have, because there are some students out there that don't get to see representation and that don't get to learn about their history. As my speech comes to a close, if there's anything you can learn from this, is to listen to Black voices. Whether it's celebrating Juneteenth, reading an article, or just talking to your Black friends, you should listen and learn from Black people, because at the end of the day, we are systematically oppressed and our voices deserve to be heard. Thank you for listening to my speech and have a wonderful rest of your day.
I didn't know that all that was going to happen, y'all. Thank you to those amazing students, as well as Dr. Baxter and this amazing teacher that we have, our English teacher. I mean, I don't know what you guys, it can be seen, but I don't know what you guys verbally, emotionally, interactive pour into these students. But you just seen an example when Kaylee came up and Dr. Baxter gave a little speaking into her ear, and she completely shined on this microphone as they all did. So again, another round of applause for our students here in Bloomfield. Sal, we look like we have a good future. coming up with these classes with these younger students that we have. I'm very proud. Oh, if y'all want to stand up for a minute and shake it off, it's just a little hot. If y'all need to move around, feel free to. We're moving on down and closing out. I want to introduce next David Arakune. Am I saying that right? Yes. David is one of our rising scholars. Well, he is actually a graduate who got accepted not only to 1 but 7 Ivy League schools. Okay? He has accepted Princeton University, people. We will also hear from rising freshman, and also a honor student, London Langford, who will also introduce her mother, Crystal. And let's get it. It's time to go. David, you're on.
I think I'll just take it out. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So before I read the Juneteenth proclamation, I just wanted to provide some brief context about it. So this June 19th, 1865 order represents the federal government's final execution and fulfillment of the terms of the Emancipation Proclamation. And it reads, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and the rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that of an employer and hired laborer. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed they will not be allowed to collect any military post, and they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere." You guys can give a round of applause for that. I know that was like a couple hundred years ago. Yeah. So I'm going to now read a poem that I wrote called A Land of Liberty. And it reads, "The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened." John F. Kennedy, 1963. When Kennedy made this statement, 2 bright-minded scholars, qualified beyond contention like eagles they could soar, but their light, which shone so bright, was shut off by state convention. They were deemed unfit to attend higher education because of the pigmentation of their skin. A brownish colorful dye inherited from their ancestors, a radiant ebony to which much of America saw no purity. These scholars were raised to believe they could not aim for the stars, so they built a shelter of brick and stone to burden these scars. Yet these individuals would end up going to university. They would not let the color of their skin determine their place in society. They would fight for their rights determined by the rule of law. And it is this fundamental right to equality and fairness that they clung to. Like a baby clings to its mother for support, with the awareness of her tender care, with the knowledge that even though they were perceived differently, that didn't mean they had to be treated unfairly. The rule of law represents the foundation that America was built on. There are small crevices on the rock that it stands on, but when we acknowledge these indifferences in treatment and application of justice, we become a society not just of law, but one where its own people continue to defend liberty. Thank you.
Good morning, welcome. I would like to introduce my mother, Crystal Langford, who is an educator, township, civil rights commissioner, and historian for the Lossos Memorial Project in New Jersey. She will lay out what freedom looked like for Black Americans in the state before, during, and after Juneteenth in Texas was proclaimed.
Good morning, everyone. I will not be before you long. I know it is hot. So, what I will do is I will lay out what freedom looked like in New Jersey during the time that the enslaved, the newly freed, actually learned of their freedom. So within the past week, our government moved to recognize Juneteenth as a federal holiday. Juneteenth is, thank you. Juneteenth is known as Freedom Day, also known as Freedom Day, was the actualization and manifestation of 246 years of hopes, dreams, and answered prayers, coupled with blood, sweat, and tears. It is the day to celebrate the hardships of Black Americans endured. It is also a day to recognize their courage, their resilience, and their grit. We reflect on this date, June 19, as the day the last of the enslaved blacks in the deep Confederate South learned of their freedom. Although Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation liberated the enslaved, it did not resolve the issue of enslavement here in New Jersey. New Jersey was the last of the northern states to free its enslaved population. Census takers recorded between 16 to 18 African Americans as enslaved persons in this state. In fact, it was the ratification of the 13th Amendment on December 6, 1865, which abolished slavery, that these individuals were freed, long after the Black Texans learned of their freedom. We must remember that slaveholders intended to keep enslaved Africans in bondage for life. However, our ancestors' fight for freedom would not allow enslavers to hold on to that dream. As Dr. Kalfani stated yesterday during our roundtable, Juneteenth, the fight and hope for freedom began as soon as the 30 or so Ndongo Africans were brought forcefully to this land on the White Lion and the Treasurer. This battle continued, now with internal agitations from New Jersey abolitionists and the continued resistance against the conditions of the enslaved by the enslaved on the national and international front hastened the need to liberate blacks held in bondage. Convicted by their morals on the principle of equality for all, masters like Moses Bloomfield, an abolitionist, father of Joseph Bloomfield, for whom our town is named after, he freed his 14 enslaved persons on the spot. Challenging public sentiments that African Americans would rely on public support, Moses publicly inquired of his 14 enslaved that very point. And one brave soul, he boldly proclaimed, "Never, massa, never, as long as these fingers are left above these joints," meaning he would work. And he wouldn't rely on public support. He would rely on the government to make ends meet, as they have done for hundreds of years on this land. This event actually occurred on the 4th of July of 1783. See, freedom was gradual in New Jersey's, it was gradual for New Jersey's enslaved population. The Gradual Emancipation Act of 1804 promised eventual freedoms to blacks born on the 4th of July of that year. African Americans born that year would not experience freedom until after 1845. However, freedom did not look like or feel like the freedom they hoped for. In spite of New Jersey being the home of the highest percentage of blacks in the northern states, Black New Jerseyans suffered a great deal politically and economically during and after the Civil War. Blacks were unsure of their status as citizens because of Lincoln's preference for colonization. Proposed plans to send black people back to Liberia failed as blacks rejected the plan. Black New Jerseyans were in the midst of navigating a society plagued with racism, prejudice, discrimination, and oppression. To shield themselves against the hostility of racism, Black New Jerseyans sought refuge in black communities like Burlington County, historically known as the cradle of emancipation, Red Bank, Morristown, Princeton, Patterson, Jersey City, Elizabeth, Camden, Newark, and our neighboring town, Montclair, just to name a few. They named towns like Timbuktu to establish and maintain a connection to their ancestral land in Africa. Black New Jerseyans established places of worship to buffer against segregation experienced in white churches. Born from there, Black New Jerseyans created and funded schools for black children, providing them with the knowledge denied to them before, during, and a little after public schools had been made available to all children in the state of New Jersey in 1871. The severity of aggression black children experienced at the hands of white teachers compelled black parents to oppose integration plans. Black schools provided employment for black teachers. Black teachers pushed black children to become beyond what society expected of them. Black segregated schools created a learning environment for black children. However, a differentiated curriculum made education unequal. As a result, another fight ensued. The fight for integration at the expense of black teachers, unbeknownst to them. In spite of rejections, black New Jerseyans saw education as an avenue for success. It is through this that they created the black middle class. So you see, prejudice kept black people out of certain work industries. Even when employed in skilled and unskilled work, they were paid less than their white counterparts, placing them at a disadvantage. We still see this today. From washerwomen and waiters and waitresses and domestics and servants, just to name a few, black New Jerseyans use education as a way to climb their ways into positions traditionally closed off for them. We saw a growing class of entrepreneurs, beauty shop owners, grocers, toolmakers, engineers, teachers, researchers, historians, doctors, and lawyers. With a growing black population, blacks' agitation for voting rights and their victory in that area made gains heard made the gains heard today possible. While I was able to provide you a snippet of the black experience in New Jersey, what you do see is despite opposition, black New Jerseyans persisted. In the midst of restrictions, black New Jerseyans created a semblance of freedom while they continue to fight for freedom. This fight is for full liberations, not just for black Americans, but for all Americans. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Now I would like to introduce to you, as we come to a close for I promise you we're coming to a close, our District Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Michelle Babcock Edwards. She is amazing. I have to tell you, she is our teacher out of Wassesson School. And where is she at, Dr. Rosamilia? There she is. She was supposed to be here, but it's too hot and she refused. No, I'm just wanting to recognize you. Again, you know, we have, as you can see, an amazing group of students, a caring, amazing, stellar group of teachers, principal and wide educators here in Bloomfield. And it was this opportunity to take a moment to recognize them all. And I think this special opportunity to introduce Michelle is one that you guys do not want to miss. So if I can give the last mic and word of this ceremony before we hear from our board, I would like to introduce to you guys our District Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Michelle Babcock Edwards.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am overwhelmed and overjoyed at the privilege of participating in this first Juneteenth event in our town, being chosen as Wassesson School's Teacher of the Year and Bloomfield's 2020-2021 District Teacher of the Year at such a time as this. As a nation, we have been navigating life around COVID and the devastating impact it had and is still having on our lives and the lives of those around us. Responding to the call of social justice as we watch the events surrounding George Floyd and protested for equality and reform for people of color, to exercising our right to vote and witnessing history in the election of Kamala Harris as the first woman of color, as Vice President of the United States of America. We have made some progress toward change, and as we continue to look inward and allow the work to be done in our hearts toward loving, valuing, and respecting one another as God's creation, I believe we will see a brighter future for our children and in the generations to come. As I reflect on all we have been through this past year, I can't help but to give thanks to God in Jesus Christ for entrusting me with the gift of teaching and allowing me to be here with you today. This is an honor for me because I personally comes on the heels of a challenge in my own personal life, having watched my husband spend 4 weeks in the hospital fighting COVID in January, while fighting it myself along with my 3 children. in January. It comes at a time where we all were behind the scenes teaching from our homes and navigating this new virtual platform and then hybrid model while still keeping our parents informed, students engaged, and supporting one another as colleagues. It comes at a time as we began stepping into having hard conversations about our biases and moving toward being informed, introspective, and intentional on racial equity in education, choosing to adjust our thinking and teaching to meet the needs of our diverse students and families in Bloomfield. It comes at a time where Juneteenth is recognized as a federal holiday. I share this incredible moment with many amazing people. I share it with our wonderful Township of Bloomfield, our mayor, and our police officers who have collaborated for change. Thank you. I want to thank my family and friends who have been praying for me, my mother and my brother who are here today, who have always cheered me on in all of my pursuits. To those who were like dads to me in my life when my father wasn't around, I'm gonna name them, Steve and Leon, and the Boys and Girls Club who kept me occupied with positive activities as a child and still check in on me today. I wanna acknowledge my 4 children, Troy, Zuriel, Remaya, and Isaias, who were my first students and have celebrated me in these accomplishments. I want to highlight my husband, Greg, who has given me the encouragement, support, and time needed to grow as a person and in my profession. The church plays a major role in who I am and how I get through challenges. So I share this with my church family in Brooklyn, New York, and New Jersey, who allowed me to teach their children in Sunday school and have poured into me and my family. I share this with Great Commission Christian School and Trinity Academy families who were the first to see and pull out my gifts as teaching to allow me to teach pre-K and kindergarten to their children. I share this moment with my principal, Dr. Rosamelia, who keeps pushing me to step into opportunities that stretch me and grow me as a professional, and other principals across town who do the same for their staff. To my colleagues at Wassessing School, thank you for your support, for stepping in and covering for me when I needed time off to care for my family, for sending food, cards, and prayers our way. I share this moment with the supervisors who invited me to collaborate on projects in our district, such as Scott and Christy Arnold, and for other supervisors who are providing these opportunities as well. I share this moment with my mentors, both past and present, who provided and continue to provide a model for highly effective teaching. To the teachers of Bloomfield, who have educated my children from elementary to middle school to high school and have given their best to educate our students and support our families while trying to take care of their own families. I share this with you. I share this moment with the Bloomfield DEI Parents Association, who have worked tirelessly to bring awareness and affect change in our district. I share this moment with our district superintendent, assistant superintendent, and the members of the Board of Education who have listened and responded to show care and concern for the teachers and families of our town. I share this moment with the professors of Essex County College and Bloomfield College who were instrumental in providing the educational tools needed for me to become an educator. I share this with all of you, the students and families of Bloomfield District. Finally, I share this with those who have gone before me and risked their lives fighting for equal rights and social justice. Now to echo the panelists and the attendees from the event last night, there is more work to be done in this area, and many other areas there are disparities, so let's continue learning, reasoning, growing, and fighting together as a community and as a people. Thank you again for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you to all our community members for attending this event. Thank you, everyone, for making this event successful. I cannot go without leaving the stage without acknowledging and having my board members come up to the stage. Jill, President Jill Fishman. Yep, that's you. Our superintendent, Mr. G. My community engagement members, Ben Morse, Shane Berger, Michael Heller's here, please come up. Nadisha Green, Jessica Salinas, Ralph Walker, and I would also like to have Dr. Evans from Bloomfield Colleges please also come to the stage. On the stage, guys. I am a young lady from Red Bank, New Jersey. Bloomfield, I am not a homegrown Bloomfield community member. I came here some years ago, actually 15 years ago, because I wanted to emulate the school system and education that my little sister Brenda had in Florida. As a special education student and as I was not a mother at the time, I didn't know anything about where to put my sister in an education system. But I quickly learned that it matters. It matters to be in an educational system that is diverse. It matters to be in an educational system with teachers and board members and other educators that are there to support you. And I'm so glad that I landed here in Bloomfield. I now am a homeowner here. My son is a student here. My husband and I love being community members here and only look for a brighter future in Bloomfield. This moment has been monumental. Honestly, it was just an idea. And look at what we have come to as a community. So I look to see more of events and programs and things that we can come together. For the first time in the history of this township, we have the Bloomfield Board of Education, the Civil Rights Commission, and our town council come together on one accord as a community and acknowledge a historic moment. And this is only going to continue here in Bloomfield. So again, I just want to say thank you, and I just want to have a few words from our board president as well as Dr. Evans, and we will commence with our solidarity walk to Bloomfield College. Thank you.
Yeah, Casey. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Good job, Casey. So much.
I'll go very quickly. I'm from Texas, where we've been celebrating Juneteenth for decades, so I know I need to be brief and be seated. As the president of Bloomfield College, give a shout out to all of my faculty and staff and students that are over there. This is really a first for us, making sure that we collaborate. We are a part of your town. We are a part of your community. And for our students to be able to see and be engaged, this is very, very important to us. We are the only predominantly black institution and Hispanic serving institution in the state of New Jersey. So let's give us a shout out. There are no HBCUs. There is one other PBI, Essex County, and I'll give a shout out to them as well because they are a PBI as well. We are a place where we care, and we have Teacher of the Year graduates that are developed at Bloomfield College. So again, we're excited about being a part, and we look forward to the future. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Joe, get up here. And Vicky, where are you? Please. I apologize. Blame it on the head and not the heart. These two were amazing in jumping in 2 feet. Jennifer Curry, I don't know where you are, somewhere folding, amazing, jumped in with 2 feet to make this possible. Honestly, they have been my main vein and heart within the last 2 weeks. So thank you, guys. Jill?
I like the sentiments. I'll be very brief. First of all, on behalf of the Bloomfield Board of Education, our administration, everybody top to bottom, thank you for being here. It's an honor and a privilege to have this happen on our Bloomfield High School site. Hopefully it's the first of many celebrations together. Congratulations to the township for having all these people from different entities for the first time ever come here and do this. Hopefully we can continue and broaden that relationship to make sure we have successful events in the future. Congratulations. Let's march on and make sure you drink some water, guys. It's very hot today. Drink some water. Thank you very much. Our superintendent, Mr. G.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you to Mr. Jennings, his staff. Thank you for all of you that come out today. I've said it a million times, this is a beautiful community. This show of love today, this celebration is amazing. It's historic. Have a great day. Stay cool. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you.
This is our first annual Juneteenth event where the township has collaborated with the Board of Education, the Civil Rights Commission, as well as Bloomfield College on one accord to celebrate this historic event. I'm so happy to be one of the coordinators of this process and look forward to many, many, many more. As I've said and echoed before, this was an idea that came up. Unbeknownst to us, it was going to be made a federal holiday, and it's just been amazing. Last night, our panelists were great at Bloomfield High School, where we talked about Juneteenth, past, present, and future, and I just hope to see more opportunities to celebrate all cultures, communities, and the entire Bloomfield Township as a family. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Terrence L. Bankston, the Director for the Center for Student Leadership and Engagement and Special Programs here at Bloomfield College, one of the many organizers who made today possible. Today is about commemorating Juneteenth, celebrating the history and the legacy of African Americans, but not just that. All of those who work together, who support each other, and understand the importance of preserving our history and our contributions. And so that's what today is about. We partner with the town. This is the first, and we look forward each and every year.
Hi, I'm Councilman Ted Gamble here at Bloomfield College. We are doing the township's first Juneteenth celebration. Really excited that this came together. The Board of Ed, Bloomfield College, and the township all worked together. I have to thank Councilwoman Cruz because she was pivotal in having this come together and led the charge on the council level. And it's just a wonderful thing to celebrate. Happy that this is now a national holiday, and we're hoping to do many more collaborative efforts and raise more awareness to the college and their efforts here in town, but just excited to celebrate today.
Hey, watch this, try to do it with your eyes closed. Close your eyes. Who messing up? Step and slide, hey, step and slide.
Good afternoon. I am Jill Fishman, the Bloomfield Board of Education President. On behalf of the board and the administration, we'd like to congratulate our Board of Ed member, Casey Dudley, and the rest of her crew for putting on a wonderful event. As you can see behind me, this has been a great inaugural Juneteenth event, and we hope to partner with everybody who's worked with this today for more events in the future to be successful. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will.
Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Ed Brown Jr., y'all. Give it up for Ed.
Rasheed Williams used to be a slave. He's still a slave. He lays the rock he robbed off the block on his heart. He loves chains. He hates poverty. His family is too poor to afford the lottery, so like his country, he dressed himself wealthy in stolen property. He lacks options. He chose materialism subconsciously because imperialism forced free labor into him, and racism took education from him. They traced red lines in the shape of ships without much space to give blacks outside of it. Schools funded based on property tax, that's why it always seemed like every class was overcrowded. Rasheed was too proud. To him, police were clowns. They suspected him of walking, so they slammed him on the ground. He heard the devils talking. He looked to see their smiles hyperventilating with a frown. It triggered his trauma he forgot until now. As a child, he was raped, and those apes got him down. In jail, they had him wait years until his trial. The case was dismissed, and elections are here. Rasheed found it interesting, perplexing that this year a racist, a rapist, was flexing his imperialist, idealistic direction. Rasheed was unfazed, amazed not. Thing one and thing two could both rot. They were the embodiments of what caused the dismemberment of Rasheed's people after enslavement, not some saviors of current predicaments. Watch, they wear those same smiles. Rasheed's ligaments in shock, pull up a seat, they write in red ink. One smelly, one stinks, neither poor enough to have brown water in their sinks, both rich enough to give nothing to Rasheed. So he thinks, who has my vote? He took his ballot and peed on it.
So coming up next to the stage, please welcome Miss Yasmin Mitchell, y'all. Come on, Yaz. Give it up for Yaz. The louder you clap, the harder she'll snap.
With skin, melanin, eyes big, bright, beautiful. Whether days or decades, you shine like diamond mines. Yes, you sparkle in the dark. It could be because of the wisdom which pours from your scalp in coils of silver, or seeps through new skin in which other dimensions flow like indigo and starseed, that makes an eye wander towards pieces of you in fear and amazement. But still, the science of you remains complex like French wines. S'il vous plaît, you are the universe. You have lived time and time again in yourself, on yourself, stamping your passport with billions of galaxies, not even known to men, and yet you birth them and love them and give them to layers of you as wives and even as husbands to daughters of your mother, and still you are learning, evergreen, blossoming, like March, April, May, giving life and taking it with the power of you. I am proud of you, to see you, know you, be you, and you me clearly as we sun gaze at each other's faces, God creations, creating the type of energy that makes diamonds look like rhinestones, making them marvel at us and all that we are. Let them stare, but do not let them shame you. Wear yourself proudly, skin melanin, whether days or decades, let them bow at your feet and remember your name.
Hi, my name is Yasmin Mitchell, and I've been a student here at BC forever. I wrote a book today, and I was asked to come and share some of my work for this momentous occasion. So my book is Mind of a Flower, and it's just talking about a spiritual journey, about being a black woman and going through things and rising through them. You can find me on Instagram at king.kira.candy. And I just want to say I'm so impressed that Bloomfield put something like this together, but more so than anything, I'm really excited about where this can go. You know, like just for it to be a national holiday and it is acknowledged around the world. Like I live in New York and a lot of people were closing down their shops. So this is really cool, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mayor Michael Venezia. Today is an absolutely great day for the Township of Bloomfield. It's our first annual Juneteenth celebration. And as you can see, we are here with a great atmosphere with many black-owned businesses that are here in the community and supporting each other. This event was led on the council by Councilwoman Sarah Cruz and by volunteers Dee and Diamond, who both own small businesses in the Bloomfields downtown. So we're extremely excited to celebrate this absolutely wonderful day. We will look to expand on it next year. So we are very happy with how everything's going right now.
My name is Damien Harley, Master Damien Harley of Universal Martial Arts, located at 48 Washington Street in Bloomfield, New Jersey. We are one of the oldest martial arts schools specializing in Taekwondo, Hapkido, and Karate kickboxing, as well as Olympic style Taekwondo. And we're proud to be a part of the Bloomfield Center Alliance and their Juneteenth celebration. Hope you guys have a great day.
This is Thomas Crew Creations. We do customized t-shirts, cups, accessories, banners, whatever you need, we can customize it. We have the hand with the broken handcuff, and we also have Juneteenth with the stars. We have our Afro lady with Juneteenth in it. Because this is our first time doing this here at an event. And it's also the first time for Bloomfield doing it as well, so I was very excited about the celebration of Juneteenth and, you know, our 4th of July, I guess you would say.
My name is Brianna from Montclair, New Jersey, and this is my business called Creations by Bree. I'm a natural hairstylist. I make wigs, I sell braiding hair, and I sell natural hair oil and kids shampoo as well. I feel as though all our Black loved ones and the community get together as a team and family and support each other naturally.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Stephanie, this is Mia and Aiden, and we're here with Rare Breed Mixed Martial Arts located on Washington Street in Bloomfield. And we're so happy to be a part of the first annual Juneteenth celebration with the town, and so happy that it's become a federal holiday. So you can find us on Instagram at Rare Breed MMA. Come on down, Rare Breed Mixed Martial Arts. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome. This is Top Closet. This is actually an online clothing store where you're actually able to purchase clothes from different people and different brands. We have a whole list of things that you would like. You can take a look. One of our items is this goddess shirt. We also have some other items with decent prints. And of course we have dresses. And of course we have this beautiful model here who's actually wearing one of my pieces.
Hi everyone, my name is Khadidra and this is my daughter Isis. We are the founders of Maya Muse Boutique of Accessories. My goal is to offer women different experiences with anklets, bracelets, earrings. Actually, earrings is my specialty. I am grateful to be here for Juneteenth, as this is a day of history and the first for Bloomfield. And thank you guys very much. My Instagram handle is at Maya Muse Accessory Boutique.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shihan Kendra Gray. I am the assistant instructor at the Shaquille School of Martial Arts located on 71 Washington Street. Our school has been in existence for the past 40 years, originally starting in South 10th Street in Newark, New Jersey. We've had a couple locations, 2 in East Orange, 1 in Montclair, and now we have our main spot here in Bloomfield. Our school is always open and we're always welcoming new students. We start as early as 3 years old and we go all the way up. You can find us on Instagram, Shaquille Warriors, SHAKILWARRIORS. And we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Our website is ShaquilleWarriors.com. You can find us anywhere. All you just gotta do is type in Shaquille Warriors and you can find us online.
So we are Righteous Reads Publishers. It's an independent black-owned publishing company based out of Newark, New Jersey. The founder is Elijah Bell. These are his books. I'm one of his first signed authors. This is my book right here, On Love, On Hope, On Heartbreak. And we're just trying to do a family thing, that's all.
This is another way for us to express ourselves through, reading and writing, and that's another way for us to express ourselves. So it's big as far as through Juneteenth.
It's a beautiful company that Elijah Bell created, and I'm a friend and a colleague of his. So yeah, just check out Righteous Reads Publishing. Appreciate it.
I am Nicole of Serenity Bath and Body and Things, selling natural soaps. It's our specialty to create products based on all natural ingredients. We keep the chemicals down by using unscented soaps. Thank you, and here's Scandalous Beauty.
Hi guys, I'm Anaya from Scandalous Beauty. We have lip gloss, we also have lashes and lip scrub for all of your beauty needs pretty much. Yes, we have a website at scandalousbeautystore.com.
How you doing? My name is Steve Eugene, and I'm a local artist in the Township of Bloomfield. And today's June 19th, and this is our first time doing this, so I'm just out here selling some paintings and doing on-site painting, pretty much abstract work, a little bit of everything, a little bit of oil paint with these canvases, spray paint, everything I incorporate at the same time too. And my Instagram is @WGene. It's DUBB_UJEAN. And pretty much just trying to stop for the first time, but it's been a good time so far.
Welcome to Parallel Pies. When you take your first bite, you're gonna love every bit and inch of it. We put our love, our sweat, and tears into these pies. So come on down and try our navy bean, our butternut squash, and it's gonna melt in your mouth. Make sure y'all come on down. Don't y'all forget, y'all ain't never had no pies like this.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Wow, what a beautiful sight. You should see how beautiful this looks from up here. Let me say it's a real honor and privilege for me to be here on this wonderful occasion here in Bloomfield. You know, I've been about four other different functions today, and this is really one of the best crowds I've seen here in Bloomfield. But today is a special day. It was a day that people who did not know they were free found it out 2 years later. And I'm just so proud to have taken the vote the other day to make Juneteenth a national holiday. My surprise was that old messed up Senate on the other side voted on it too. I was like, they did? I thought this was going to be hung up for another 2 years before we got it. But they did the right thing, and here we are. And the president signed it right away. And so it's a testament to this country continuing to try to right its original sin. And it is a history that some folks don't want to talk about. But we need to talk about it. We need to be about it. And let's just not make this a day that another day off from work, going to the mall. Let's make it mean something. Because people toil and struggle for us to be in the position that we're in today. You know, all the black businesses that are being created in communities such as this across the nation. We cannot let them forget about Tulsa, about Rosewood and all the other communities that suffered at the hands of people not wanting to see someone live out the American dream. There's enough in this country for all of us to live a quality of life that we deserve in this country. We've all worked hard, some for free, for 400 years. And you wonder why this nation is so rich. If you don't have to pay your workers, all the profit goes in your pocket. So I'm just delighted to be here in honor of today and the remembrance of what a people toiled through, that they weren't even told they were free for 2 more years. They were abused for 2 more years. But it is a great day to be here in Bloomfield. Let's have fellowship, brotherhood, and let's recognize our ancestors for the plight that they went through. You know, we're talking about reparations in Washington, D.C. And it's difficult for some of the people in Congress to talk about it. But that's all right. We're having difficult conversations every single day. And we are going to continue to push H.R. 40, the reparations study bill, through the Congress, and finally have the true discussion on the original sin in this country. So I'm just delighted to be here. Wanted to take a few minutes to say hello to you and continue to enjoy the afternoon. God bless you and have a great day.
So I want to start by saying that black is beautiful, but this system is broken. Yeah, I want to make it, but I can't be another token and fall into the systematic racism where my culture is stolen. Being black is my life. Being a cop is an occupation. That means in a situation, my darker pigmentation cannot trigger you to pull your trigger. Fear cannot equal death nor unnecessary force. Now I don't know who's your source or who took you through the course of shoot first and ask questions later, but bro, come outside, I just want to talk. Or let's take a walk and pop off the cork that you used to wash on your sorrows, leaving us with dead souls just to get some pesos. Well, your pockets got to be fat. Imagine killing for $1. Now that's just ghetto, and I ain't talking rat-tat-tat-tat, but in all seriousness, this has got to stop. You do not have the authority to kill just because you're a cop. Or maybe it's just a supremacy, white supremacy that makes you feel like you're on top. So you kill my people, then yell, all lives matter. Yes, something has to stop because listen, all lives matter can't matter until black lives do. And you cannot scream Black Lives Matter only when it's convenient to you, but in reality, this is nothing new. They take the culture to leave us with the struggles that they put us through. I'm still trying to figure out what did we do to you. You traded the chains for handcuffs, then added bullets as if it wasn't enough. George Floyd was on tape. Imagine all the lives taken on hush-hush. But I won't say too much. I'ma say less. And hopefully my words can make the monsters confess. But like I said, baby, black is beautiful. And anybody who disagrees is delusional. And you know that phrase, food for thought? Well, consider this the thoughtful food that I have brought, because baby, your black is beautiful.